well as insights into this issue. You know, it took me a while to really understand what we're going to be discussing over here, because I think it's a deeply personal issue, and it has a lot to do with how we perceive society, how we perceive what is supposedly an image of perfection, what we project in terms of our lives as well. I'm going to come to Ms. Tandon first, because you are an icon of popular culture in a sense. You, in the 90s, did a movie that was about violence within the home, an abusive relationship. Tell me a little bit about that, and also tell me how you think that theme would perhaps be different in today's world.
I don't think much has changed.
Right.
In fact, I think because of the kind of awareness that we are now looking at, where somewhere I feel there has been a kind of awakening to the fact that this is a very serious issue. And let me tell you, this is not only India. In fact, the USA statistically reports the highest level of domestic violence that happens in any country. So let's not only talk about it as being a problem within our country, most definitely it is a global issue, and it is to be taken very, very seriously. Unfortunately, what I do feel is what is not happening within our country.
Okay.
Coming back, since that is our home, and I think we should deal with problems that are within our homes first, is the attitude is not changing towards it.
Okay.
Even, you know, in the movie, in Daman, we did show the fact that somewhere along that the system or the justice system somehow fails to protect these women or to stand by them. There is no support system. That was then. And in fact, like when you said that that movie was a trendsetter, I think we were in that phase in the late 90s, we're just about getting over, where most of you must have seen the movies where, you know, the full phrase used to be, Mera Pati, Mera Devta Hai, you know, that was going on. Or when the villain wanted to shoot, you know, I mean, the hero would want to, yeah, when the hero wanted to shoot the villain, the sister was married to the villain and she'd give, Nahi, mere suhag, ye mera suhag mat ujado.
Exactly.
That was the trend at that time. How many movies of, you know, we all have seen that. We are not sitting here to do men bashing.
No, no, not at all.
Please, I want to reinstate that.
I'm just asking about
We
the
are not
changes
here,
you think there have been in popular culture.
That movie at that time did speak of how this woman ultimately, when the husband in a drunken state starts eyeing, the woman took as much as she could.
Okay.
But when he started eyeing her daughter, that was the last straw for her.
Okay.
And she kills him. So that was a trendsetter then. But like you said, now, how much of it has it really changed?
Okay, I'm going to ask you to hold that point, because I want to come to Ms. Anand on this, and in fact I'm going to go to all my panelists. When you were speaking, and when I've sort of looked at some of the things that you've published, and we were talking about what you put out there in the public forum now, tell me the answer to the simple question. 10 years into an abusive marriage, and a very violent one, what was the one fear that kept holding you back in this relationship?
The fears were so many. For one thing, I didn't have parental support. So that was a huge issue. I had a daughter immediately, almost within a year of marriage. So where would I go with the child? And then when the second child came, where would I go with the second? I had 2 children who would take care of me. That time I didn't know how vast I was inside and how much I could take care of myself. It took years of battering to even find out who I am. So sometimes life gives you no choice.
Okay, so but just first of all, parental support, secondly,
yes,
economic dependence.
Financial issues. The biggest thing is financial issues.
Right.
Then I had a son, of course, who was, you know, had issues because of the trauma. He'd stopped speaking. He'd been put into a center for children with learning disabilities. He didn't have any learning disabilities. So where would I get his treatment done? How would I survive?
So very quickly, because I'm going to now hop around the panel a little bit. When you broke out, and you obviously realized that it was not the end of the world that you'd done it, and you still had those, you know, the financial restrictions, the lack of support. It's not like they came overnight.
Yes.
How did all of that work for you, and how long did that take?
I had been in advertising before I got married.
Okay.
So I went back. I used to, you know, take up freelance jobs and work at night at a computer.
Okay.
And the entire day I was running around with my kids, you know, trying to settle them. Therapies, everything. So it was very hard.
But you did it.
Yeah, I did it. And even now, it's not as if it's financially extremely amazing. No. But life is a struggle, and you come to terms with it, and then that's how you learn your own strength.
Sure. Ms. Kori, I'm going to come to you because you deal with counseling and psychiatry as well. You're dealing with relationships that show you all sorts of different levels of violence within the home. I understand that it's not just physical violence, it could be mental violence as well. However, if we're looking at those terribly abusive situations, what are some of the things you feel are recurring? Is there a pattern of shame? Is there a pattern of breaking out? What are some of the biggest problems in getting out?
The biggest problem is that there is a lot of shame, a lot of stigma attached to it, a lot of feeling very physically violated and coming out and talking about it. Because even women are not accepting women who have been abused because we don't talk about these topics. I personally feel that safety starts from home, and especially we are talking about the most educated families. And really, I need to add to this that you need to be really financially independent. Most of the women would have left their families if they were financially independent. So everybody at home must encourage their daughters, their sisters, their relatives to, stand on their own feet. But what about the women who have not been able to stand on their own feet? I think they can come around having support system. You have a WhatsApp, you have a Facebook. Use the social media to your advantage when the man knows that, listen, one message here and one message there will have a group of women pounding on the door. We need to move the women from fear to faith. So step out and talk, because every woman will have her own story to tell you. The universe is not made of atoms, it's made of stories. Come out and talk, and women will support you. I promise you that.
Okay, Ms. Kohli, I think Ms. Tanu wants to come in, and then I want to come to my other three panelists.
I just had a point to a slight interjection. The fact that you said that we need to empower our sisters, our relatives, and the women around us. I think what is also very, very important for women to come out on their own, and instead of always, playing the blame game somewhere, I think we also do share a bit of a responsibility as mothers, as sisters, and as you can say figures who do mold or shape people's lives around them. Somewhere along, I feel that these boys who do molest, who do violence, or who end up as criminals have not had the kind of upbringing that a mother should have instilled in them right from childhood. The very minute that that child picked up a stone to hit at a little puppy, or to injure a bird, or to kick someone, or to bully someone, that should be stemmed at that point. And the mother should come in, step in and say, no, this is wrong. The very fact that we need to nurture our children into respecting women around them, to respecting their equal, their sisters as their equals, is very, very important, even for us women to take up that responsibility, where somewhere along it will go down generations. That very fact that, no, protect the weaker sex. You are not allowed to bully the weaker. In fact, teach them love, compassion, kindness, and the fact to protect. I think somewhere we women need to take up that responsibility to bring up our children with those morals and values is very, very important.
They're equal stakeholders. In fact, I want to come to Ms. Sudhan right here, because I could see you actually agreeing to what Ms. Tandon was saying, and I'm sure you get to see a lot of different cases. Give me a sense as to how you have been dealing with issues of domestic violence or abuse within the home.
See, when we talk about domestic violence, actually you should add another. Within the womb, it begins there. We've seen trends of declining child sex ratio, where the discrimination with the girl child begins right from the inception. People try to find out whether it's a girl or a boy, and then decide whether the child is to be born. And I'm sorry to say, I think one of the panelists, I think it was Ravina only, she very rightly said that it's also amongst the educated. It's also amongst the so-called elite, also amongst, say, the section of society that I come from. Yeah. If we talk about violence in domestic sphere, and you asked, Ravina, that what is it that was then which has changed now? So I would say that one thing that I have seen in this ministry is, and I think Robin will agree with me, that more cases are now getting reported.
Okay.
the biggest movers of the day. Stocks that are the biggest winners and the biggest losers. Stocks that markets are talking about. Get the sharpest and most insightful analysis from fundamental to technical. Catch market movers. The e-commerce buzz has never been bigger, with aspiring entrepreneurs looking for the next big idea and the government's aim to digitize India. But where is this industry headed and what lies ahead? We take a closer look at the people and companies that are transforming the sector.
In the ever-buzzing world of mid-caps, staying updated is the key to making the right decisions. Track the eye-catching mid and small-cap stocks and find out what's really driving them. Get all that you need to know in the world of mid-caps. Catch the final word on the world of marketing and advertising. Decode the latest trends with the influencers and the men and women who drive the sectors. It's all about the art of selling. Join Vikram Oza on Logo.
Markets ride on businesses. And businesses are led by CEOs. So find out all that a CEO knows, all that he should know. From government policy to the macroeconomy. Let's get in business. Track the biggest movers of the day. Stocks that are the biggest winners and the biggest losers. Stocks that markets are talking about. Get the sharpest and most insightful analysis from fundamental to technical. Catch market movers. The e-commerce buzz has never been bigger, with aspiring entrepreneurs looking for the next big idea and the government's aim to digitize India. But where is this industry headed and what lies ahead? We take a closer look at the people and companies that are transforming the sector.
You're actually getting a chance to see these incidents being reported. What are they doing about it? How does a typical case work out? Say I'm socially dependent, financially dependent on my husband. I'm ashamed of what's been happening. I finally decide to break out of it, empower myself and go and talk to the police. What happens next?
Unfortunately, for last 2.5 years, or fortunately, I would say, I'm hearing every day on an average 40 to 50 ladies, battered lady coming to me and weeping in front of me, seeking justice. And I think amongst all of you, I'm one of the most on the ground who is dealing day in, day out. Few things I want to just say, apart from what you all have said. One, as a policeman for last 17 years, one is that, yes, there is intent by the government, by the NGOs, by the society to reach out to our battered lady to help them out. But I feel there is need of synchronizations.
Okay.
Sometimes I make a point that why I should be called for a meeting 3, 7, 8 times in a month. We have a Women and Child Development Minister. Why can't have one forum where we'll have a brainstorming discussions? One. Two, when they come to me, what ma'am has rightly pointed out, I have no answer for them. Sir, मैं अब कहाँ जाऊँ? मेरी एक छोटी बच्ची है. कभी-कभी हम NGO को बोल के we try to get them some help. But that is just temporary help. Then what else left for me as a police institution? Nari Niketan भेज दो जी. Or want to, that status altogether different world I don't want to discuss. Many people, they come back next day itself. So that is one. Two, I feel one is synchronization. Two is, yes, there's a lot of initiatives taken by the government, by the police, by everyone. We need to have a what is called that I would say, called exemplary punishment. Our procedure is so long. When I was IPS officer at the Lajpat Nagar as SHO, that case is still lingering around. I'm still 17-year-old now in IPS.
My God.
That is one.
Okay.
Two, other support system apart from police, home, rehabilitation, we have nothing. There is so many on the paper is coming out, this, that, but what we need is at the end of the day. Yes, there is intent, as I said. There's nothing much can be done at this present juncture, though attempt is on to make it more focused, more women-centric. Last point, let me tell you, please allow me to say. What I believe is, let me give my personal example. My daughter is in class 8, CGM. She was 5 years back, shaky girl, every time कोई भी उसको सीटी मारती है, कुछ होता है, रो के हमको बताते हैं, Papa, they are doing that. Today she's going to become a black belt. She's a Delhi champion. Yesterday she won Delhi Cup. Now I can see her, the changes, I see it. And this is what I feel, what all of us say, empower the girls. Make this all the syllabus compulsory in the school. Why can't everybody sitting here? We have recommended to the Delhi government or central government also, why can't self-defense be a compulsory subject in the school? You don't need money. There is already PT teacher in the schools, every schools. Unko hum training denge. I have a Charlie Angel, 34th Charlie Angel with Delhi police, who are almost black belt, training all our trainers all around the Delhi. We have trained more than 2 lakhs. So that's what I want to tell. And these few basic things are done. I think all those what we are suggesting, it comes later on. So that's women-centric, all the activities. Thank you.
Just before I come to you, Ms. Anand, I want to go to Amit Khanna, who's actually a lawyer who's dealing with all sorts of cases. I just want to know, on one hand, we've been talking about, self-defense and esteem and all that. Tell me something, educate me. How often are women actually educated about where they stand in terms of legal?
See, I'll tell you, as we rightly discussed, is the access to the authority which has to be simplest.
Okay.
We don't have access, or in fact knowledge that there's a authority available to, or a one door available which sort out everything. It is there, but people are not aware of it. So awareness is one issue. We are talking about self-defense, but these are all precautionary. What if something has happened? Then what? Or something has to be stopped, like domestic violence, as the context. We have an entire legal system, and of late we have lawyers who are empaneled by Legal Aid, which provide free assistance, legal assistance, and all the expenditures are paid by the government and for everyone, whoever approaches them. But people don't know about them. We have 10 lawyers in every district, and they hardly have one matter. As a paid lawyer, I would have about 7 matters a week of domestic violence.
Okay.
So
did anyone know that in this audience? I wasn't aware of it.
So they are Legal Aid, 10 council every district, and my friend would know here, but nobody goes there.
Okay.
And I don't know how often.
The first reaction of anyone facing violence is the first reaction will be to call the police, right?
Correct.
The first reaction is that. And then forward on, I feel somewhere along panels should be set up where our policemen should be educated towards being sensitive.
Yes, precisely. I said precisely. The access should be the simplest.
Exactly.
All right.
Precisely.
Sorry. I want to give her a chance, and I know that Ms. Anand has been waiting. So because we only have, guess what, 5 minutes left on this panel, but let's quickly do that. Go ahead, Ms.
No, just 2 things. Not only do we have in the districts, but every police station is supposed to have paralegal staff. So 1 volunteer. But how many people know about it? Now, just very quickly, because giving chance to others, we have in the Beti Bachao 100 plus 61 districts. We are going to have what is called village level convergence facilitation centers. Okay. Which means there, we will have 2 women coordinators who will act like the Anganwadi or the Asha for women's safety and security. All right. And all women's issues. So that access to services and justice is quicker. Next thing is, because as there are no mechanisms for hand holding. That's what we need to build. Then next is, I don't know whether the minister spoke to you about special Mahila police volunteers, which we are trying to have with the MHA, where these women will actually, if there is a case of domestic violence and the police station is not responding, she'll at least accompany her to the police station, tell her what it is all about, tell her what her legal rights are.
Track the biggest movers of the day. Stocks that are the biggest winners and the biggest losers. Stocks that markets are talking about. Get the sharpest and most insightful analysis from fundamental to technical. Catch market movers.
This week on the Auto Show, Mercedes launched its new mid-size luxury SUV, the GLC, and we take the car out for a spin. We drive the most powerful production car Audi has ever built, the R8 V10 Plus, and speak to the management about company's plans.
A lot of celebrities, like this brand.
We're certainly a brand that's appealed to the young and heart. We have a very wide range.
And we take Porsche, Macan and Cayenne out for some off-road fun.
The e-commerce buzz has never been bigger, with aspiring entrepreneurs looking for the next big idea and the government's aim to digitize India. But where is this industry headed and what lies ahead? We take a closer look at the people and companies that are transforming the sector.
We get you a holistic view of the day's trading, the highs and the lows, and the day's most significant stories. Keeping an eye on every aspect that drives market. Get all that you need to know as a trading day comes to a close.
Markets ride on businesses. And businesses are led by CEOs. So find out all that a CEO knows, all that he should know. From government policy to the macroeconomy. Let's get in business.
Unfortunately, when we talk about it, it always gets into a conversation of society and systems and everything else. Tell me something,
exactly
for someone who's in deep hot water, talk to me about that.
So the thing is that one has to understand that in our country, we live in 1,000 different realities. Okay, we cannot make generalizations that all the police are bad, all of this is good, whatever.
It's not fair to do that.
In my case, when I went through my violence, I went to Delhi police, to Nanakpura Thana. And that's how I got my children.
Excellent.
So I don't believe that we can stereotype anybody or generalize. And I also want to say one thing on a larger perspective when it comes to domestic violence. When we talk about violence against women, we talk about rape, domestic violence, everything in the same breath, right? Domestic violence is an endemic issue because I feel that it is the crux of every kind of violence against women, because that is what, when a child sees, for the male child, the rates are that the ratio is that about 85% of boys who have seen domestic violence will grow up to abuse their wives. Okay, and their partners. And the girls, whoever has seen violence, now the ratio is, the statistics say that about 70% of them will go into abusive marriages.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about how you deal with people who come to you in terms of when you're advising them to deal with this situation, and also how much their self-esteem and confidence has a role to play in terms of how they react to these situations. Because I think a lot of this has, of course, you have the mechanisms outside, you have, you've got this wonderful set of panelists, all of whom want to create much more awareness when it comes to this front. But a lot of this is turning into how the person themselves perceives their own strength. So give me a sense as to what you do in those cases.
It is, as Rashmi said, it's very unique to each case,
Okay.
carrying its own socio-economic issues. But there have been certain cases where the mothers understand how the male members are in the house, like it's a joint family. So very clearly they have CCTVs in the daughter's room, very clear on that. They're very clear that there are certain things they can't do about. And they don't have the voice or they don't have the courage, but they would do something for their daughters, okay? When they're empowering along the way, I think they get also the confidence to do something about it themselves. I always tell women to gather support around them, whether it is a buddy they can talk to or a support in terms of, as I said, social media, in terms of we need to have the men have the fear that they can't do it. For men, it is the way of life. For example, why don't I feel unsafe when I'm walking at night on a Singapore road in Singapore city? Why do Indian cab drivers across the world don't rape? Why does it happen in India only? Because there's just no fear. There's no
But listen, I'm sorry to sound this, focused about it, because I will next be talking about violence outside the home. So I'm really, really being very hardcore with my panelists right now. I want to bring it back to being inside the house. So what is the biggest breakthrough you feel when these women actually, or whoever, people come to you and they start talking to you and say, hey, listen, this is what's happening in my life. Are they even aware that there's a cycle of...
No, they don't even think. They think it's just, this is their way of life because they've seen their mother.
Mr. Hebo, please comment on that.
I want to make 2 points, very point. One is that those who are coming to us, after so much of suffering, with hesitancy, they just come out. Because they know what is happening, they also knew that there's no much support, but still they take chance. One, that is Delhi police experiment. 2, since ma'am has rightly pointed out, yes, now like Delhi, we have 33% will be women policemen. Already announced, we have already started recruiting 33% of the police personnel recruitment in future for police, that is women. Third, I would suggest why not make it impact analysis, since ma'am is, we all are here, of whatever this nation is taking care for the women's safety by an independent like IIM or IIL. Third point.
Sure.
I was just giving this idea, suggest I'm a policeman, hardcore policeman for the last 17 years. Anything happened to women until it hurts me, my department, and me as a person. Like Nirbhaya case, we had a virtually one issue. Why not a forensic laboratory in the name of Nirbhaya or Jyoti, for Asian referral forensic laboratory, which can give a forensic report within 1 week. At the end of the day, in the court, the forensic evidence is the only which can convict the criminals. And I told him in all forum, I'm just making this suggestion, why can't all us put together, get us together, let us put all the Nirbhaya fund in only one Nirbhaya forensic laboratory, referral forensic laboratory for Asian countries. So that tomorrow, now what is happening, as a DCP of the district, I had to virtually beg to my police headquarters, मुझे इस बार 4 कोटा दे दो, मेरा पास इतना ये है forensic, हमें वहाँ भेजना है. So these are the practical things. I think if we have impact analysis, that can be great wonder for us.
You want to come in on that?
Enhancing the police is a where we really lack, because a lot of domestic violence, we all don't know about this. Police has no role to play. They cannot register the case.
This is what I wanted to tell you.
They can't do any preventive. If you slap a wife, I'm sorry to say, they can't even book a guy under 323. It's a non-constitutional offense.
Where does that leave us?
So you all need to go to the court. So here where you need certain amendments.
So court, not police.
No, because I said you gotta have easy access. The easiest thing you do is dial a 100 number. The guy is helpless. He will say, "Madam, I can't," not because he wants to say that, because it is compulsion. He has no authority to do anything. A domestic violence, police has no role. And even the dowry, which is another evil we face, you have to go through huge process, and there are guidelines by the topmost cops that you would not register any case of dowry violence unless it is routed through CAW cell, which is an entire procedure, and it is a direction to CAW cell that you will first mediate. So it is a forced mediation to a person who has been assaulting you. There was the first effort will be mediation. They have to file a report, mediation failed. Okay. So what are we talking about? Cops,
so it's much later. It's multiple fold, you can't blame everyone, and you also need to be able to work on yourself. This is what all my panelists have said. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. Thank you very much.
This week on the Auto Show, watch out BMW X3 and Audi Q5 because Mercedes launched its new mid-size luxury SUV, the GLC, and we take the car out for a spin. We drive the most powerful production car Audi has ever built, the R8 V10 Plus, and speak to the management about company's plans.